All right. Thieves broke into the police station last night and stole all the toilets. The cops have nothing to go on. Chapter 25. Hope is a fine feather of smoke. Cooper and his crew had put the sail again and were moving well. They were heading for the coast as quickly as possible. Whenever it was safe to sail, it was crucial to their survival. Back in England, Doug Critchley's parents and sister were mourning his loss. Mary Cornish's sister Eileen was devastated, as were all the boys' parents. Everyone on the lifeboat, people back home who were mourning, or in the case of Lascars, would be, when news of the disaster reached them. But now, around 4 o'clock, they spotted something that from far away looked like a ship. Could it be? It was hard to tell, but whatever it was seemed to be sailing in their direction. As the dot grew larger, Mary could see the outline of a ship and a fine feather of smoke. Bode and Nagorski had crawled under the awning earlier to get some rest. All of a sudden, he heard commotion and shouts. Then someone poked his head under the tarp and told him, "A ship is sailing in the direction of the boat." And by the angle of its course, it was bound to meet them. Nagorski overcame his fatigue and crawled out to sea. So did the boys. They all jumped up and waved and shouted, even though the ship was too far away to hear them or see them, even through binoculars or a telescope. Mary Cornish's petticoat, which she had sacrificed on the first day for just this purpose, was run up the mast. It was a flag, an alarm, a signal of distress. "Help us!" Father Rory and the children bowed and prayed, saying them Our Father together. Ken picked up his head and made a lot of noise, despite his lack of energy. They all did. They yelled and waved desperately, trying to get the attention of the crew on the ship. And at this moment, Mary Cornish was astonished to remember a recurring dream she had had as a child. She had been shipwrecked and was adrift in a crowded boat, weak from exhaustion when a steamer was sighted. The vessel came closer and intent on rescue, and lifeboat was made fast to its side. Mary had to leap across a gap up to safety, but in her weakness she could not span the distance. She dropped down between steamer and lifeboat into the sea and lay on the bed of the ocean. She was quite comfortable there, surprised to find that drowning was not more unpleasant. If only the first part would happen. To be rescued would be a dream, the good part come true. Father Roy could see the mast and funnel of a ship on the horizon, and as it came closer, it looked to him to be a merchant ship. Nagorski judged the ship to be no more than 600 or 700 yards away. A large freighter. They were sailing right toward it. Cooper and his crew got the lifeboat ready. One of the sailors took down the awning that had sheltered the boys. Worried that the standing poles might get in the way as the boys got onto the ship, the crew pulled those out too. There was no place to stow them, so they tossed 2 of the 3 into the water. Everyone put on a life preserver. Cooper explained how the rescue would take place. The ship would be much taller than the lifeboat, so they'd be lifted off one by one. Those who were strong enough would climb up rope ladders, but that was unlikely for most of the people in Lifeboat 12, 5 days at sea. The order of rescue would be the children first, then Mary, then Father Roy, then Nagorski, and finally the crew and sailors. As the ship neared, everyone watched closely. Very soon they'd be safe, their ordeal over. Mary exulted. They would be able to stretch their legs. They would be able to have as much water as they wanted. It was none too soon. Many of them were doing poorly, and another storm was brewing. They could all tell. The waves were getting higher, and on the horizon behind the ship, the clouds were growing darker. Hope, wrote poet Emily Dickinson, is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. That's a poem by Emily Dickinson. The passengers of Lifeboat 12 had hope on that strange sea, hope that kept them going these past 5 days. And now here was a ship coming toward them. There was nothing to do but wait. Their eyes on the fine feather of smoke, hope perched in their souls, and then the unthinkable happened. The ship turned away.